the world's first news OTT, News 9 Plus, ahead of the curve.
Hello and welcome to News 9. I'm Varghese Abraham. First up, let's see a major development that is happening in the southern state of Karnataka. The Karnataka government has announced its decision to withdraw the ban on wearing hijab. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah had asserted that there is no effective hijab ban in the state, emphasizing that women have the freedom to wear anything they want. Addressing a gathering in Mysuru, Chief Minister Siddaramaiah declared that hijab ban isn't there anymore and women can wear hijab and go anywhere. He also went on to say that he directed that the ban order be withdrawn. How you dress is what you eat is your choice, what the Siddaramaiah has said in that particular meet. He further emphasized that the freedom of choice for people in the state. He said, and I quote, "Wear what you want, eat what you want. I will eat what I want. You eat what you want. I wear dhoti, you wear pant shirt. What's wrong in that?"
ಆ ಕೆಲಸ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿ ನಾವು ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ದರ್ಶನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ನಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಬಂದು 7 ತಿಂಗಳಾಯಿತು 7 ತಿಂಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಂತ 5 ದೊಡ್ಡ ಭರವಸೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ 4 ಭರವಸೆಗಳನ್ನು ಈಡೇರಿಸಿದೆ ಜನವರಿ 12ನೇ ತಾರೀಕಿಗೆ 5ನೇ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿನೂ ಕೂಡ ಜಾರಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ಯುವ ನಿಧಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಜಾರಿ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ.
Well, the controversy surrounding the hijab ban erupted in 2022 when BJP government led by Chief Minister B. Bommai imposed the ban in education institutes in the state. The move led to widespread protests and illegal challenges. The Karnataka High Court upheld the ban, stating that wearing a hijab is not an essential religious practice of Islam and educational institutes can set the dress code for their students. Following the change in government in June, Karnataka Minister Priyank Kharge pledged to review and repeal any regressive attempts and laws enacted by the previous BJP government. Now, this includes the controversial hijab ban and the anti-cow slaughter bill. Karnataka hijab ban, withdrawal of hijab ban in education institutions raised concerns, is what Vijayendra Yediyurappa has said. By allowing religious attire in educational institutions, Siddaramaiah government is promoting dividing young minds along religious lines, is what the BJP has said, potentially hindering the inclusive learning environment. It's crucial to prioritize education over divisive practices, to foster an environment where students focus on academics without the influence of religion. He went on to say that CM Siddaramaiah's decision will in fact lead to concerns about the secular nature of educational spaces. He also went on to say that it's crucial to prioritize education over divisive practices.
नमस्कार. कर्नाटक राज्य सरकार ने मुस्लिम को अपीजमेंट करने के लिए माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय में हिजाब का केस पेंडिंग होते हुए भी तुरंत आज हिजाब को अलाउ किया है. इसमें कर्नाटक राज्य सरकार किस प्रकार मुस्लिम को अपीज करने के लिए, वोट पॉलिटिक्स करने के लिए किस प्रकार का एक गंदा पॉलिटिक्स कर रहे, इसमें ध्यान में आता है. सऊदी अरेबिया जैसा मुस्लिम राष्ट्र में आज हिजाब को जो बैन था उसको निकाल दिया. वहाँ सऊदी अरेबिया का जो मुस्लिम एजुकेशन बोर्ड है उन्होंने ड्रेस कोड को प्राधान्यता दिया है. लेकिन कर्नाटक राज्य में, हमारा राज्य में एक टिप्पू सुल्तान राज्य बनाने के दृष्टि से सिद्धारमैया ने आज फिर से हिजाब को अलाउ किया है. जिस प्रकार पॉपुलर फ्रंट ऑफ इंडिया, कैंपस फ्रंट ऑफ इंडिया भारत को इस्लामाइजेशन करने के लिए हिजाब इशू उठाया था, आज इस संगठन का ध्येय को राज्य सरकार शरण हुआ है. ये बहुत ही एक खंडनीय और विरोध है. आज कर्नाटक सरकार हिजाब को अलाउ करेगा, कल हिंदू बच्चे केसरी शाल डालकर आएगा उसको अलाउ करेगा, और अन्य कम्युनिटी लोग उनका ड्रेस में आएंगे, धोती पहन कर आएंगे, इसको अलाउ करेगा। फिर से धर्म दंगल को संघर्ष करने का इस प्रकार का बड़ा कॉन्स्पिरेसी इसमें बयान में आता है। इसको हमने खंडन करते हैं। सरकार फिर से इसका पुनर्विमर्श करे।
देखिए, कांग्रेस पार्टी की सरकार है कर्नाटक में और हिजाब पे प्रतिबंध उठाया है। ये महज हिजाब पे प्रतिबंध नहीं उठाया है, बल्कि शरिया कानून को स्थापित किया है। अगर राहुल गांधी कांग्रेस और इंडी गठबंधन की सरकार देश में बनी तो इसी तरह से इस्लामिक कानून, शरिया कानून लागू होगा। यूपी में योगी जी की सरकार ने अगर हलाल सर्टिफिकेशन पर बैन लगाया है, बिहार में मैं नीतीश कुमार से कहा हूं वो भी बैन लगाएं। मेरा मानना है कि देश में कांग्रेस और इंडी गठबंधन अगर जहां जहां है वहां इस्लामिक कानून धीरे धीरे लागू हो रहा है। कर्नाटक में जिस ढंग से कांग्रेस ने हिजाब को हटा करके शरिया कानून को लागू करने का ऐलान किया है, भारतीय जनता पार्टी इसका विरोध करती है और भविष्य में कांग्रेस की सरकार जहां जहां सर उठाने की कोशिश करेगी, भारतीय जनता पार्टी इसका विरोध करेगी। ये सनातन के खात्मे का एक तरह से एक सुनियोजित तरीका है। एक तरफ मुस्लिम समुदाय हलाल मीट के माध्यम से, हलाल सर्टिफिकेशन के माध्यम से इस्लामिक कानून लाद रहा है, दूसरे तरफ कांग्रेसी सरकार कर्नाटक में शरिया कानून के तहत हिजाब को लागू किया है।
See, number one, our chief minister has been always vocal about the food and culture of individual this thing. Since he has made this statement, I'll have a discussion with him. Whatever his directions are there, then I'll have to, put forward from then onwards. I think since he has made a statement, let me talk to him and get back to you.
BJP is attacking, started attacking you.
BJP does everything, this is very common for them. If at all our Honorable CM has said, I think it has got nothing to do with any politics. We don't have to do that, and we don't need that kind of this thing at this time. Somebody would have asked him. I saw the statement also. There was a crowd. From a crowd, somebody asked. I think when people ask, it's usually your what he has been standing for. I think he has just said that. So let me talk to him and then get back to you.
I don't think Mr. Vijayendra is aware of what the Constitution allows you to do and not to do. Whatever the government of Karnataka is doing is well within the law and as per the framework of the Constitution. So I would urge the BJP and their leaders to studiously have a look at the Constitution. See, like I have told you, any law, any policy, any scheme that is detrimental to the progress of Karnataka will be relooked, revised and removed if necessary. That's been our stand very clearly. And we will do whatever is necessary to ensure that Karnataka is back on the economic map of India.
A Hindu temple has been vandalized with anti-India and pro-Khalistan slogans in California in the United States. The incident happened in Newark City. The Hindu American Foundation shared images on X revealing hateful messages against India and Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the walls of the temple. Emphasizing the need for a thorough investigation, the foundation reported the incident as a potential hate crime to the Newark Police Department and the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division. Reacting to the incident, the Indian consulate in San Francisco strongly condemned the defacement of the Swaminarayan Mandir Vasana Sanstha. The consulate expressed deep concern, stating that the act had offended the sentiments of the Indian community, urging swift action. They confirmed that they had contacted U.S. authorities to initiate a quick probe into the matter and take prompt action against the perpetrators. The French police have taken 2 men into custody a day after grounding a Nicaragua-bound plane carrying over 300 Indian passengers. The plane was grounded after it was suspected of being part of the human trafficking, and Indian authorities have also reached the spot and are investigating the situation. France had grounded this chartered flight headed to Nicaragua carrying 303 Indian passengers on Friday. Now, the plane was in fact grounded to conduct a judicial investigation. The Airbus A340 belongs to a Romanian chartered company which has been identified as Legend Airlines. It had flown in from United Arab Emirates and had landed in Vatry Airport in eastern France for a technical stopover, after which it was grounded there. Now, investigations are being carried out and Indian officials have been given consular access to the 303 passengers who are on board that aircraft. Wrestling champion Bajrang Punia penned a letter to Prime Minister Narendra Modi returning the Padma Shri award to protest Sanjay Singh's election as Wrestling Federation of India president on Kartavya Path or Rajpath. The police intercepted Punia while he was en route to Parliament to meet Modi and surrender his Padma Shri medal alongside the letter. Subsequently, the wrestler set the medal on the pavement. In Punia's open letter to Modi, penned in Hindi, he expressed he cannot carry the honor of being a Padma Shri awardee while Indian women wrestlers face insult. Priyanka Gandhi, the leader of the Congress, met with Sakshi Malik as well as the other wrestlers and spoke to them about the situation. She also did take in the inputs given by the wrestlers on their current strife with the Wrestling Federation of India. COVID-19 cases are on the rise in India with the emergence of the J1 sub-variant, with first case being reported in Kerala. Not only this, 5 fresh cases have also been reported from West Bengal during the last 24 hours. Among the 5, 3 have been hospitalized, while 2 are under home isolation. Also, 5 cases have been reported in Rajasthan and reports a single fatality due to the COVID-19. Now, JN1 is a descendant of the Omicron subvariant BA2.86 and carries an additional mutation of L455S in the receptor binding domain, making it more resistant and immune evasive. Classified as a variant of interest by the World Health Organization, it poses a particular risk to elderly and those with multiple comorbidities, warns IMA. COVID Task Force Dr. Raji has in fact said that this particular variant has to be monitored. India has recorded 594 new infections, increasing active cases to 2,669 with a death toll of 5,33,327. Globally, WHO reports 52% spike in new cases over the past month. Well, all you need to know about the JN1, it contains a significant number of unique mutations. Majority of these cases are clinically mild, as we understand. Also, we have come to know that this particular variant is infectious. JN1 is a subvariant of the Omicron. Well, it is being said that there is no immunity against the new variant and can be life-threatening for immunocompromised people. About 65 with diabetes or cardiac disease, cancer, etc. are highly vulnerable, capable of evading immune responses as well. Potential to affect a large number of people. So have you stumbled upon Money 9, my secret weapon for mastering finance and thriving in the economy? Dive into unparalleled financial wisdom with Money 9, the ultimate app to decode finance and pocket real-time cash. Grab control of your financial journey starting now on Money 9.
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए, सीखना है तो पूछिए और कमाना है तो खरीदिए। जानकारी, सलाह और निवेश सब एक ही सुपर ऐप पर। पैसे का सवाल है तो जवाब है मनी 9। आजादी पैसे की, अभी डाउनलोड करें।
Now, in the aftermath of terrorist attack that claimed the lives of 4 army soldiers on Thursday in the Raji sector, an extensive research operation is underway to locate and apprehend the militants that are responsible. Now, the tragic incident occurred when terrorists ambushed 2 army vehicles transporting troops in Tanamandi in Rajouri. During the attack, 4 army personnel lost their lives and 3 others have sustained injuries. The confrontation had unfolded around 3:45 p.m. on Thursday when terrorists opened fire on the 2 army vehicles passing through Dera Ki Gali in Rajouri's Poonch region. In response to this grave threat, the security forces have intensified efforts to track down the ultras involved in the attack, emphasizing the importance of swiftly addressing the situation and ensuring the safety and security of the region. It is also being said that the NIA, meanwhile, has also carried out with its activities and are looking for overground workers of the terror organizations and are also tracing their activities just ahead of the attack. Meanwhile, in an unfortunate incident that took place in Chandli village of Jammu and Kashmir, a man was killed and another was injured after a mortar shell which they found in the forest area exploded. The injured person has been hospitalized and he is stable now. He has been transferred to the GMC in Jammu.
अनफॉर्चुनेट इंसिडेंट हुआ है चांडली गांव में। ये गोरन पुलिस चौकी के अंतर्गत आता है, पुलिस स्टेशन सांबा में ही, और इस क्षेत्र में सुंब के पास है, 2-3 किलोमीटर दक्षिण दिशा में। यहाँ पर 2 युवक गांव के जंगल में गए हुए थे और वहाँ पर उनको कोई शल मिला है, जो नया शल है इस चीज़ का अभी किसी को पता नहीं है, और उसके साथ खेल रहे थे। जब क्या करने लगे तो वह फट गया और जिसकी वजह से एक की दर्दनाक मौत हो गई है युवक की, और दूसरा इंजर्ड है, और जो इंजर्ड है वह स्टेबल है और उसको जीएमसी जम्मू के लिए रेफर किया गया।
Well, pollution has become a major concern in the national capital. On Friday, the central government has reinstated the 3rd stage of the anti-pollution measures in Delhi as the air quality index has reached 409 by around 4 p.m., categorizing it as severe. Now, it is also being said that consequently non-essential construction activities have also been stopped. Meanwhile, it is also being said that especially for commuters, the BS3 petrol and BS4 diesel four-wheelers in Delhi-NCR have been prohibited. Again, I repeat that the BS3 and petrol and BS4 diesel four-wheelers in Delhi-NCR have been prohibited. The Commission for Air Quality Management, a statutory body tasked with devising strategies to address the pollution in the region, has identified unfavorable weather conditions that are adding to the haze in the city.
दिल्ली में एक बार फिर हवा की गति मंद पड़ने और हवा की दिशा बदलने के कारण वायु प्रदूषण बढ़ गया है। दिल्ली गैस चैम्बर में तब्दील हो चुकी है। दिल्ली में अगर AQI की बात की जाए तो औसत AQI आज 441 है, जबकि कई ऐसे इलाके हैं दिल्ली में जहां पर जो हवा की कैटेगरी है वो बेहद खराब स्तर तक पहुंच चुकी है। दिल्ली में अगर बात की जाए शुक्रवार की तो दिल्ली का औसत AQI 409 था और 24 ऐसे इलाके थे जहां पर एयर क्वालिटी इंडेक्स वेरी पुअर कैटेगरी में पहुंच चुका था। हवा की दिशा शुक्रवार को नॉर्थ ईस्ट से साउथ ईस्ट की तरफ थी, लेकिन आज शनिवार की बात की जाए तो ये दक्षिण से पूर्व की तरफ चल रही है और हवा की जो गति है वो लगभग 9 किलोमीटर प्रति घंटे की रफ्तार से है। और यही वजह है कि दिल्ली में अचानक से प्रदूषण बढ़ गया है और दिल्ली गैस चैम्बर में तब्दील हो चुकी है। आप देख सकते हैं कि सुबह सुबह दिल्ली के अलग अलग इलाकों में कुछ फॉग और स्मॉग की चादर है। ठंड काफी ज्यादा बढ़ चुकी है। जो तापमान है वो सुबह 6 बजे 10 डिग्री सेल्सियस दर्ज किया गया और दिल्ली के अलग अलग इलाकों में अगर एयर क्वालिटी इंडेक्स की बात की जाए तो आप देख सकते हैं कि ये दिल्ली का जो एयर क्वालिटी इंडेक्स अलीपुर में 445 है, शादीपुर में 477 तक ये पहुंच चुका है, जबकि जो अलग अलग इलाके सीरी फोर्ट में 435 है, ITO पे 472 है, मंदिर मार्ग का जो इलाका है वहां पर भी 448 है, RK पुरम में 466, पंजाबी बाग में 475 तक पहुंच चुका है। जबकि आप देखेंगे कि पूसा रोड पे 409 और मथुरा रोड पर 432 है। इसके अलावा JLN स्टेडियम के पास 451 और द्वारका में 437 है, जबकि पटपड़गंज में 462 है। बातचीत की जाए तो एयर क्वालिटी इंडेक्स वो 400 के ऊपर पहुंच चुका है। 200 के ऊपर जब एयर क्वालिटी इंडेक्स होता है तो हवा को खराब कैटेगरी में माना जाता है और फिलहाल जो हवा की स्थिति है वो बेहद खराब कैटेगरी में है और इसीलिए दिल्ली में एक बार फिर से ग्रेडेड रेस्पॉन्स एक्शन प्लान यानी ग्रैप 4 को लागू किया गया है और इसके तहत जो BS3 की पेट्रोल और BS4 की डीजल गाड़ियां हैं उन पर बैन लगा दिया गया और इसके साथ ही कंस्ट्रक्शन पर पूरी तरीके से रोक लगा दिया गया है। लोगों को एक बार फिर जैसे ही वायु प्रदूषण बढ़ा तो सांस लेने में तकलीफ होने लगी, आंखों में जलन होने लगी और यही वजह है कि डॉक्टर अब लोगों को सलाह दे रहे हैं कि वो लोग सुबह के मॉर्निंग वॉक से बचें, हो सके तो घरों से बिना काम के ना निकलें, बुजुर्ग और बच्चे और गर्भवती महिलाएं अपना खास तौर से ख्याल रखें। जिस तरीके से सर्दी बढ़ रही है, हवा की जो रफ्तार है वो कम हो रही है और हवा की दिशा बदली और यही वजह है कि अब एक बार फिर दिल्ली में वायु प्रदूषण बेहद खराब स्तर तक पहुंच चुका है।
Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh has made a fresh appeal to the people to avoid any misunderstanding between communities. He said that, and I quote, "You and here are everybody are even seen here that peace is restoring slowly. In the meantime, I want to appeal to everyone not to create any misunderstandings between the communities. We have to wait and watch what the government is doing because the need of the hour is peace."
Peace is already just you are here and you have everyone have seen peace is restoring slowly, and in the meantime I want to appeal to the people and to everyone not to try to create any which can be created any misunderstanding between the community. So everyone has to be keep silent and we have to wait and watch what the government is doing because need of the hour is peace.
In a rallying call for Maratha Reservation, Quota activist Manoj Jarange declared that 80% of the battle has been won, emphasizing the final stages of the fight. Jarange gets a deadline for the Maharashtra government, giving them until December 24 to address the issue. He warned that if unmet, the community would march towards Mumbai, tightening the state's economic noose. Speaking at well-attended rally in Selu, Parbani district within the state's Maratha Quota region, Jarange reiterated that despite granting the government a 40-day window, no progress has ensued. He also urged caution among the masses, highlighting the crucial juncture for securing reservation for the Maratha community. It is a great deal of development that is happening when it comes to the Israel-Hamas war, and we are in fact trying to figure out what's happening when it comes to the United Nations.
The following content may contain visuals that are disturbing, graphic, or sensitive in nature. Viewer discretion is advised. This material is intended for mature audiences and may not be suitable for all viewers. Please exercise caution while watching, and if you find such content distressing, we recommend discontinuing viewing. This disclaimer is provided to ensure awareness and to prioritize viewer well-being.
The United Nations Security Council approved a toned-down bid to boost humanitarian aid to Gaza on Friday that stopped short of a call for a ceasefire, hours after Israel signaled it was widening its ground offensive in the Palestinian enclave.
The United Nations Security Council on Friday approved a bid to boost humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip, but the proposal was stripped of language calling for, quote, an urgent and sustainable cessation of hostilities in order to allow aid deliveries after the United States threatened to veto the motion. Instead, it calls for steps to, quote, create the conditions for a sustainable cessation of hostilities. This change frustrated other UN members. Here's the United Arab Emirates envoy to the UN, Lana Nusseibeh.
We know this is not a perfect text. We know only a ceasefire will end this suffering.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Friday said Israel's operation was the primary obstacle in delivering desperately needed assistance.
A humanitarian ceasefire is the only way to begin to meet the desperate needs of people in Gaza and end their ongoing nightmare.
Nowhere is the dire need for aid more apparent than here in Deir al-Balah, in the Gaza Strip, where a school has been transformed into a field hospital. Surgeon Bashir al-Hurani said this patient should be in a proper hospital, but because of overcrowding, was transferred here.
We have nothing. Medical supplies are not available. Beds for patients are not available. Sterilization tools are not available. We are suffering from the lack of medical staff, medical supplies, and medicine.
Aid trucks lined up at the Kerem Shalom crossing from Egypt into Gaza on Friday. Israel says since the start of the latest conflict, more than 5,400 vehicles carrying humanitarian aid have been allowed in. Here's Israeli Colonel Moshe Tetro.
Our war is with Hamas, and we seek to reduce the impact on the people of Gaza. Since the beginning of the war, we have set up several mechanisms for continuous assessments of the humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip.
Israel launched a massive military retaliation against Hamas fighters after the Palestinian militants attacked Israeli communities on October 7th, killing 1,200 people, mostly civilians, and taking hundreds captive. The death toll has been staggering. Dr. Marwan Al-Hams is the director of the Abu Yusuf An-Najjar Hospital. He said that Friday marked the 77th day of fighting, and the number of Palestinians killed had topped 20,000. Israel's defense minister Yoav Gallant on Friday said the military operation was gradually completing its goals in the northern Gaza Strip. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government has vowed to eradicate Hamas. Washington has regularly backed Israel's right to defend itself, but has grown increasingly concerned at the suffering of Gaza's 2.3 million people.
We slip into a short break now. News and updates will continue on the other side.
वर्ष 2070 तक भारत नेट जीरो का लक्ष्य हासिल करेगा.
There is certainly a wall of capital coming into the clean tech, climate tech space, not just in India but across the world.
This and more, streaming on world's first news OTT, News 9 Plus. Download now.
जब हम करेंगे तो पता लग ही जाएगा. सलमान खान का करेंगे, मारेंगे या जोधपुर में मारेंगे तो पता लग जाएगा.
This is someone who is sitting inside our jails and is still very obviously and openly running, and possibly the largest organized criminal operation in the country.
स्टूडेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ऑफ पंजाब यूनिवर्सिटी में सोपू का एक्टिंग प्रेसिडेंट टाइप भी रहा है.
He was a troublemaker, getting into fights with people, not coming to the class.
As on date, it appears that Lawrence gang is the most important, the prominent gang. Gangs here in Punjab, they are intimidated.
Today he's India's most dangerous gangster, and India's presence are apparently no bar to how Bishnoi runs India's largest criminal empire.
News is now content. Just stream it. Download the world's first news OTT, News 9 Plus, ahead of the curve.
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए, सीखना है तो पूछिए, और कमाना है तो खरीदिए। जानकारी, सलाह और निवेश सब एक ही सुपर ऐप पर। पैसे का सवाल है तो जवाब है मनी 9। आजादी पैसे की, अभी डाउनलोड करें।
Since the last 2 years, Khalistani terror groups are threatening Indian diplomats in Canada, US, UK and Australia. Investigations of these threats led us to the first ever abduction and killing of an Indian diplomat, Ravindra Matre, in UK's Birmingham in 1984. Our months-long investigation finally led us to the murderer of Ravindra Matre, who has been hiding in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir for the last 40 years. Watch our exclusive documentary, Murder of an Indian Diplomat, where we reveal the man who killed Ravindra Matre.
Stop searching, start streaming. Download the world's first news OTT, News 9 Plus, ahead of the curve.
Hello and welcome back. In the realm of luxury jewelry, some buyers value pieces crafted from lab-grown gems and recycled materials. Designs like the poppy earrings made from recycled aluminum reflect their emphasis on sustainability, featuring lab-grown diamonds and pearls grown from regenerative farming. Take a look at this interesting story.
6 of these can turn into an ingot like this, that can then be cast into a pair of earrings like this.
These poppy earrings are made of recycled aluminum. They were crafted by London-based designer Annabella Chan, whose jewelry designs rely on lab-grown diamonds, recycled aluminum and pearls grown using regenerative farming techniques. Chan says she chose her materials after witnessing what she said were poor working conditions in diamond mines in Sri Lanka.
And that for me was a life-changing experience. So seeing the conditions of how people worked and how little they were paid, and yet these are some of the most precious and valuable commodities there are in the world, just didn't make any sense to me.
In order to make diamonds, Chen relies on suppliers who use technology to capture carbon dioxide emissions that would otherwise be released into the atmosphere.
Diamonds are made of carbon, sapphires are made of corundum, which is an aluminium oxide, rubies are aluminium oxide with chromium. So once you know what things are made of, you can sort of work backwards. So laboratory-grown gemstones are about mimicking the conditions within the earth where gemstones are formed, but in a controlled environment.
In November, the young designer won the Game Changer category at the British Luxury Awards. Chan's company does not give sales figures, but says it has seen strong demand since the COVID-19 pandemic. The lab-grown jewelry market has seen annual growth of 20% in recent years, driving global profits to $15 billion. That's according to Edan Golan Diamond Research and Data. As more producers enter the market, the price of lab-grown diamonds has fallen, and brands are looking to differentiate themselves, especially through designs. Joshua Brahman is the head of diamonds at Pandora, a major retailer of lab-grown diamonds.
customers buying lab-grown diamonds can enter for a variety of reasons. Maybe for them, the sustainability factor is important. Maybe it's the price-value equation, right? In our case, we believe it's both of those things, but also that we offer really an array of proprietary and very interesting, meaningful, emblematic designs.
For Chan, it's about creating a fine jewelry brand that's highly crafted, but also sustainable and accessible for a broader customer base.
I think working with laboratory-grown diamonds and laboratory-grown color stones for me really brings a glimpse into the future of what fine jewelry looks like, because I think it is about a celebration of science and art together.
As Christmas festivities illuminate the world, President Joe Biden joined First Lady Jill Biden in continuing an 81-year-old tradition with a visit to the Children's National Hospital, spreading the holiday cheer.
And Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap.
The mayor and I have I'm going to promote him. I'm going to make him a congressman. All right. And look, I want to thank all the staff here. It's special what you do. And Mom and I, Jill and I spent time in the same like you parents did with our children in other circumstances. But, you know, that old expression, there's life, there's hope. Hopefully you're all going to be here. Hopefully you kids are going to come back when you're out of the hospital and hang out with other kids who you know what it's like, right?
Winter is breaking records in Northern Asia, with temperatures in China and South Korea hitting new lows in recent weeks. The prolonged and notably colder temperatures hint at potential disruption in the usual circular flow of cold air around the Arctic, known as the polar vortex. This natural barrier normally keeps Arctic air from venturing into lower latitudes. Meteorologists attribute North America's occasional bitter cold snaps to polar vortex's disruptions. This high-speed atmospheric current, typically moving from west to east at altitudes 50 kilometers, has faced scrutiny for its wavering behavior. Lupin, a legume from the pea family, emerges as a sustainable alternative to soy for plant protein. Lupin can thrive in diverse climate conditions and demand less intensive agricultural practices, and this can be a viable option to soy in providing eco-friendly nutrition.
Can lupins replace soy as a more sustainable plant protein? It could, according to food scientists at Australian-based company Wide Open Agriculture, or WOA.
Lupins are sort of the unsung hero, or the unrecognised hero of a new source of plant protein that can rival soy, pea and fava, which are the three big incumbents.
Lupins are legumes belonging to the pea family. WOA has been developing methods for extracting the protein and making lupin beans more palatable for various plant-based meat alternatives and dairy substitutes. Protein levels of lupin beans are comparable to soybeans, but it's the environmental benefits of farming lupins that really sets them apart from soy. Ben Cole is the founder of Wide Open Agriculture.
Soy is the behemoth. It is the one that consumers, if they look on the back of pack, they'll be finding soy in most plant-based materials. But consumers are starting to look behind that label and ask questions around how is it produced. Very chemically intensive systems that uses a lot of water.
Environmental groups have questioned the sustainability of soy farming. It has been closely linked to deforestation and monoculture, an agricultural practice that focuses on a single crop at a time. Lupins, on the other hand, thrive in diverse climates and require less intensive agricultural practices than soy. The plant is well suited to marginal lands with little water, reducing pressure on prime agricultural areas and promoting biodiversity. They are also nitrogen-fixing plants, meaning they enhance soil fertility by enriching it with nitrogen, reducing the need for synthetic fertilizers. This reduces the environmental impact of farming, benefits the health of the soil, and fosters sustainable agricultural practices. Haider Al-Ali is a senior food scientist at Wide Open Agriculture.
food manufacturing companies and scientists around the world, I think, in a race looking for new alternatives, because due to the already updated actually information about climate change, it is happening, it is a real thing. One of these possible alternatives can be Lupin as a solution for this problem.
Western Australia grows about 3/4 of the world's lupins, and wide open agriculture and the Australian government sees huge potential as the demand for sustainable and plant-based protein sources continues to rise. Jackie Jarvis is the Minister for Agriculture and Food, Forestry and Small Businesses in the Western Australian government.
We know that we're competing with soy, but this is a different market, I think. I think it's that market for people who are looking for that environmentally sustainable product.
Madrid's Regional Assembly on Friday passed proposal by the Spanish capital's ruling Conservative People's Party to strip back protections for transgender people, sparking outcry from the opposition as well as the LGBTQ activists.
Madrid's Regional Assembly on Friday passed a proposal by the ruling Conservative People's Party to strip back protections for transgender people, sparking outcry from the opposition and LGBTQ activists. The bill amends 2 LGBTQ laws passed in 2016. Under the reform, discriminating against workers based on gender identity or sexuality and beating someone without causing injury based on gender identity or sexuality are no longer punishable offenses. The PP's Monica Levin defended the reform as a way to stop what she described as social engineering and said the reform returns, quote, rigor and science to the protection of LGBTQ people. Carla Antonelli, a trans assembly member for the left-wing Mas Madrid party, called the bill an abomination and told reform supporters, quote, you will have blood on your hands. In the bill, lawmakers replaced the terms trans people and gender identity with transsexuals and transsexuality, terms that activists say are outdated and demeaning. Under the reform, the region's underage trans people will now need an evaluation by a pediatrician and a psychologist or psychiatrist before seeking transition-related health care. The option of changing names on regional documents before adapting the national ID was also eliminated. In December 2022, Spain passed a nationwide bill allowing transgender people aged 14 and over to change their legal gender without the need for psychological or other medical evaluation. Most of Spain's 17 regions have laws for the protection of LGBTQ people. Madrid is the first to roll back such legislation. Mas Madrid said it would ask Spain's human rights ombudsman to challenge the law before the Constitutional Court.
By the close of 2023, China and United States have experienced a relaxation in bilateral tensions. However, numerous underlying issues could lead to renewed challenges in the relationship in the coming year.
After a year that brought panic over spy balloons, a fight over semiconductors, and an intensifying military rivalry, China and the United States are ending the year with an uneasy detente, with both Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping looking to stop a freefall in their countries' relations. But 2024 could bring new turbulence. Here are 3 problems that could cause a stumble in US-China ties. Taiwan votes in mid-January for its new president and legislature. China considers Taiwan its own territory. Taiwan officials say Beijing has been escalating military maneuvers near the island and pushing a prickly narrative.
There have been very stern warnings from China that this is a war and peace election and that independence for Taiwan would mean war.
Reuters correspondent Anthony Slokowski has been following these events from Beijing. Though increased warnings and military pressure during elections isn't new at all for Taiwan, this time Beijing really dislikes the frontrunner, Democratic Progressive Party Vice President Lai Ching-te and his running mate Xiaobi Kim.
The commentary in China has been pretty negative about the DPP candidature. They have been called colluding villains. I think the sort of the ruling party ticket and the Independence Dabble Act.
The US could be drawn in if military tensions escalate in the Taiwan Strait, and there's a precedent for that. In 1996, the US sent an aircraft carrier group to the area in response to China's military exercises and missile tests ahead of voting. The 2024 US presidential election could be even more consequential. Barring last-minute surprises, it will likely be a rematch between Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump. Reuters' US foreign policy editor Don Durfee explains its implications for the US-China relationship.
Trump is less of a fan of traditional American alliances, including NATO and some of the alliances in Asia. If a Trump administration were to mean a pullback from Asia, China would see that in its benefit. On the other hand, Trump was very tough on China during his time, right? He imposed new tariffs, there were arguments about COVID, and the Chinese leadership found it to be a very difficult administration to work with. So there's an argument from analysts that the Chinese might actually prefer Biden because he's more predictable. They feel like they have a partner they can negotiate with.
Semiconductors remain a key issue in the US-China tech rivalry, and the US is expected to beef up export controls designed to prevent China's military from getting its hands on the most advanced semiconductors.
We're going to see another tightening of export controls in the coming fall in 2024. And we've also heard from officials that the US intends to enforce these rules more strictly. So they plan to go after individuals and companies that they might see as violating this.
While China sees this as an effort targeted at their development, it struggles to push back since retaliating against US businesses would only drive away the foreign capital Beijing needs as its economic growth slows. Things may look cordial between Washington and Beijing for now, but that could change unexpectedly in the coming year. From presidential elections in Taiwan and the United States to continued trade fights, there are no shortage of fault lines between the world's two largest economies.
Now, about 100 Santas skipped their customary sleighs as they arrived in boats and gondolas on Venice's Grand Canal. The Santas sprinkled the water with a merry red, bringing joy and magic to the lagoon city a week before Christmas. Now, their presence painted the waterway in vibrant hues of red, injecting an air of joy and magic into the atmospheric setting just ahead of the Christmas celebrations in the city. The sight of these Santas gliding gracefully through the historic canals not only added to whimsical touch to the cityscape, but also served as a delightful prelude to the holiday festivities, spreading cheer and creating a memorable spectacle for both locals and visitors alike. In a festive display of holiday spirit, runners in Mexico and Venezuela added a touch of Christmas magic to the streets. In Mexico City, thousands of participants, including families and even furry friends, donned Santa Claus costumes for the Santa race. Meanwhile, in Caracas, hundreds took part in the Santa Ho-Ho race, featuring a foam party to beat the heat. Both events aim to promote family togetherness and spread joy during the holiday season. From dazzling performances to heartwarming gestures, these luminaries are set to light up the season, promising a merry and memorable celebration for fans worldwide.
For the holidays, Ted Lasso star Hannah Waddingham shows off her vocal range in the Apple TV Plus special, Hannah Waddingham Home for Christmas.
My main pitch in terms of tone was somewhere between Dean Martin and Carol Burnett. That style of, you know, having people over for the holidays, having people dropping in their finery.
while singer Sarah Brightman kicks off the third year of her Christmas Symphony Tour. The show started as a live stream during the COVID pandemic as a way for Brightman to do something positive and employ people.
It takes you also through a journey of all sorts of moods that you may have at Christmas. In that, there are some which sort of talk about, because some people are lonely at Christmas, or they've been through a bad relationship, or they lost somebody.
Veteran band Chicago have released 2 Christmas records. They're also touring during the holiday season.
It's gonna be the best Christmas ever.
Celebrities turning their talents to Christmas movies this year include Hollywood's Heather Graham, Jason Biggs, and Ludacris.
Oh, claustrophobic. I'm sorry, what? Claustrophobic, fear of Santa Claus. That's ludicrous.
Well, that's all in this edition of the Bulletin. Stay tuned to News 9 for further news updates.
Those who are economically backwards from any community should be given, you can say, that kind of reservation. Not everybody.
This all is bluff, all is nonsense. After 2nd January, I doubt there may be a violence. You are taking Maratha for granted.
The government is confident that they'll be able to give the reservation to the Marathas in Maharashtra.
The Marathas constitute around 35% of Maharashtra's 15 crore inhabitants. The demand for reservation for the community was first raised in 1981. The state government took 33 years to act on this. In 2014, it set up a panel to examine whether the Marathas are socially and economically backward. Since then, quotas for the community